you want to leave before we started?
No.
All right. Could you just state your name and where you're from?
My name is Ben Thomas, and I'm from here, West Lafayette, Indiana.
I guess I'd say that, I chose Purdue and I came in not really knowing what to expect, but the nice thing is it's a big university and you can find people with, similar interests, similar, beliefs, stuff like that, and you can, I was able to find people like that, and as a result I got good friends and everything.
I live in a really small rural town back home. We're all farm kids, so I was kind of terrified almost. Well, my mom would get afraid because Lafayette has a really high rate of crimes, and so it's just over the river, so it's pretty close to us.
My first few weeks, I went to a program called BOP, so we were here for maybe 6 weeks before everyone else, right after I graduated from high school. Those weeks were great. I mean, it was me and maybe 25 other fresh out of high school kids on the college campus with pretty much free reign. We took 11 credit hours, so we got a head start. I mean, I loved it over the summertime. But it was more so when the school year started and all the other students came back to campus. And it was around that time where a few older African-American professors pulled me to the side and told me that I needed to change the way I act and change the way I dress to assimilate to what was going on in Purdue's culture. Needless to say, I didn't like that at all.
I'm a biracial child, so when my parents moved to West Lafayette, really West Lafayette's basically just there's not a lot of black people in West Lafayette. I did get picked on a lot for my identity, so I was sort of ashamed, I guess, of who I was, and I felt like people would make me feel like I had to choose between being black or white because my parents were each of those respectively. And that was really hard on me. That was really stressful. And it was also really stressful because people would label me. It seemed to me people would label me for what was convenient for them at the time. So if I was playing sports, they'd be like, oh man, you're so black, you're doing so good in basketball. And then if I was doing well on a test, then they'd switch it around. And so that was just really frustrating because I just wanted to be me. I didn't want to have to prove to people my identity. I didn't want to have to prove which side I was on, because I think that just seems so ridiculous, especially growing up where half your family is white and half your family is black, and they get together and get along and have a good time.
It's weird saying this, but I've never seen so many Asians before in my life, or even African Americans. There really aren't that many in my hometown, so it was kind of weird at first. I hated the fact that I noticed. It's I felt bad, but it's just, this is so different from what I've grown up with. It's I don't know, I don't feel like I'm racist, and I'm not trying to be. It's just I notice, and I try not to let that affect how I interact with people. It's just, this is different from what I grew up with.
I went on a trip to Colorado with the Wesley Foundation, and there was 5 international students with us. So that was kind of a little cultural shock, because there's only white people in my town. That's it. There's no one from any other race. We spent 10 days in a little cabin with 22 people total. And so I feel being shoved in a little cabin with a bunch of people really kind of opened my eyes. Because here, if they'd annoy me, I just go away. I just kind of wander somewhere else. But in that cabin, I couldn't get away from them. They were everywhere. And so I couldn't just wander off because it's the middle of the woods.
Yeah, it is very different in terms of the way it looks, the cityscape, and the people, the mannerisms here. The American people, to me, they are more abrasive. There is more of a focus on individualism. a lot of Americans that I met aren't really interested in learning from our culture. And I am usually the person to be proactive and make friends with them. But sometimes that can wear me off. I feel very tired because I always need to make a move. Why not? Why not them? Why me all the time? So I feel that my niceness is not reciprocated in some way. But Chinese is they are very family oriented, community oriented. So it has a sense of collectiveness, which I think is missing in America. What I have learned about Americans is mainly from the TV shows I have watched in China. And on TV, Americans seem so nice. They're always that confident, beaming with a smile all the time. But when I came here, I found that it is kind of different, so I'm disappointed. I feel that a lot of the professors are ethnocentric. They only care about the research they have been doing and not really about learning other culture. Sometimes it happens with my colleagues and classmates at the same time. Sometimes they speak too fast. Sometimes their conversational topic is very unfamiliar to me. It is really hard for me to chip in. I feel that way all the time. Most of my friends are international students because we have a lot of common grounds, we have a lot of things, we can relate to each other's situation. I have a couple of American friends as well, but they are never as close as my international friends. I don't feel that I'm not welcome, but I don't feel that I'm very welcome.
When I came here, my focus was, coming to be a research engineer, doing well in my program. I feel like, as a woman, out of all the universities, this is like the most hostile university is like towards women. I knew somebody, but when I got here, I was sexually assaulted by him, and I had to go through all these different obstacles, reporting through the university, the police, and then I found out that I spoke up about my story. Other women came out, and it was a lot, and I feel like it's very prevalent on Purdue's campus, more so than it was on Ohio State's campus or Cincinnati's campus.
Do you mind sharing further about that?
Oh no, I don't mind.
Okay.
What happened is that I knew this guy, and I've known him for years, and I met him through like one of the professional societies that I mentioned, and he did his undergrad here, and he was coming back here for his MBA. When he found out that I was interested in coming here, he reached out to me, he DM'd me, he was like, hey, here's my number, let me know if you need help with anything. So in that transition from Ohio to Indiana, he was like one of the people that I actually knew on campus before I actually got to know the rest of the people around here. And then when I got to campus, he got more aggressive in pursuing me. And so it's just crazy. I came here and it was like orientation week, and I went to Neon Cactus. I wasn't aware of how strong the drinks were or how cheap they were, and he took me home that night because I wasn't able to drive, and he tried to take advantage of me then. I had deleted all his contact information from social media. I decided I was going to stop talking to this person. I was done. I hadn't heard from him for a week. I heard from him like a week later. He texted me, and I thought that maybe I was taking it too harsh. I didn't respond initially. I responded again. We started talking as if we were friends again, like we had before. And then Friday, he took me to karaoke with his other classmates, and some girl shoved the mic in my face. She called me someone else's name. He freaked out, took me back to my place. That night, he actually took advantage of me. He actually sexually assaulted me, and I felt so guilty. I blamed myself for it. I destroyed all the evidence. I deleted texts, and then I remember texting him back like that morning, just trying to play it off like I was fine, like I could handle it, no worries. But then it got really bad because I tried to keep everything to myself and kind of keep it bottled in. So I started having nightmares about it, and I've had to go to counseling for it. I have had anxiety attacks when I see things that remind me of him. And because I destroyed the evidence, university couldn't do anything about it. The police couldn't do anything about it. It's chaos. Unfortunately, he's still on this campus now as an MBA student. But I think just going through those experiences and being able to like finally tell my story, and as a result, I've started an organization on campus here, and it seems like sexual assault awareness has been taking off completely at Purdue because there's so many women with their stories.
So when I came here, I hung out like we were like a lot of white people, you know. So and then their lived experience was different than my experience. So they kind of wondered, you know, is it true what they say, or just their experience with, you know, people of different nationalities, with me being black. So I didn't want to come off too black, or when I say too black, I mean stereotypical black. Me, I like to express myself. So like with this being a conservative culture, I've kind of at times I've compromised my personality and who I was, just because I didn't want to make somebody not feel uncomfortable. And far as I kind of left myself outside, you know, and brought a different person inside. Whereas being in groups or just how do I carry myself? It's not that many people representing blacks at all. And so for me, I'm representing my mother, my father, my family, you know, and I guess on a small scale, all black people.
There were these people who tried to like run me over just because of the fact that I was black and I was with another student, and it was like the most scariest thing, because here I am, this girl, you know, traumatized from different car accidents and situations, and these people were just gonna just hit me, and they yell out, you know, hit that, in the N-word. I don't like to use the word at all like that. And then there was things that I've seen done to other people, like them being called monkeys, and this one person just like left this banana on the table for a group of black people and was like, there you go. And it wasn't like they were trying to be nice about it. It was associating them with monkeys and bananas. So different things like that just made me go, okay, yeah, this has to be done. Something needs to be said about the injustices on Purdue's campus specifically.
I just feel like my experiences here are much different than maybe an African American who grew up in Southside Chicago with like dead bodies outside, you know, drug dealing, shootings, constant like murder, stuff like that. Like, it's just a whole different experience that I can't personally relate to. So I think that also adds like another layer of just complicatedness, because people who already don't understand like anything about ethnic diversity don't understand that like there's even more to it than just the fact that I'm black and that I'm the same as like every other black person on campus, or have had all the same experiences, because it's just not true.
I grew up very comfortable. Never had to worry about eating. Got the best of clothes. If I wanted Jordans, my dad went out and bought me Jordans. But coming here, I saw that mindset as in, hey, you're black. Like, you see me, you expect me not to get an education. You expect me, the only way I'm gonna be here is because I'm playing basketball. You expect me not to be one of the smartest guys inside my class. You don't expect me to be a math major. You know, like I say I'm a math major, a lot of guys, like a lot of people just drop their jaw like, oh, black people do math? Like, yes, yes we do. I can't count many times that I'm a very social guy. So like first 2 days of class, I try to get people together to do homework. And in my situation, I'm more often than not the only black person inside the class. Now, month down the road, the first test come out, I got a 98, they got a 72. They look over, hey, you want to study together? Was just a month prior to that, you know, you were too busy doing A, B, C, and D. I've taken probably 10 math classes here. It's happened at least 9 of them. I always try to not make it about race, man. Like, I'm not Mr. Black. I'm not Mr. They hate us because they hate us. You know, maybe it's because that day they just didn't feel like studying. Maybe because they didn't know me. You know, maybe like it's so many things that it could have been. But when it happens consistently, and like you hear stuff in the math class, hey man, you're not the normal black guy. Hey man, you're actually working hard. You know, like stuff like that sticks. I went to a party, I can't remember what the frat was, and this was like doing BGR week. And the guy goes, hey, do you play football? No. Hey, you play basketball? No. He's like, my bad, man, I can't let black guys in. You know? And it doesn't feel good.
For me, it was just kind of going out to activities, being like, oh, this sounds like something I'd like to do. and then just meeting people. It's, I think, the only negative at Purdue is that it's pretty easy if you're introverted or something like that to just kind of stay in your room. Well, when you just stay in your room, you're not meeting anybody. Mm-hmm. You're just on your computer or whatever, playing video games. I think once you just go out a little bit, friends just kind of happen.
I feel like I've just been trying to fit in as best I can, not make too much noise, not be too different. I kind of struggled to get a big friend group at first, even though I was from here. So I kind of stuck with like some high school friends that had come here as well. But this year I decided to join a fraternity, which has helped me to kind of branch out and meet a lot of different new people. I feel like since I've pretty much had to do that since I can remember, I think maybe I've grown numb to it. I don't know. I just think I've grown numb to it. I mean, obviously it's kind of screwed up that I have to that I feel like I have to blend in with whatever group I'm with at that time and not stand out so that I don't get asked stupid questions or labeled in unfortunate ways and stereotyped. But it's just something that I feel like I have to do, given the people I'm around. It's just, I just feel like I have to fit in. I'm tired of being made feel like the weird kid in the group, the kid that has no one that looks like him in the group, the kid that has to explain everyone that looks like me, even though I don't even really know what that means, to everyone else in the group. So I just want to be like one of the guys, basically. It's sort of why I joined a fraternity, I guess, if I think about it. I just want to be in a group where I'm a Sigma Tau Gamma. I'm not white, black, biracial. I'm a Sigma Tau Gamma.
Coming to Purdue, I've struggled with identity issues, depression, and I've worked through that. And being at Purdue's really helped with that, with just this atmosphere of, if you need help, go to CAPS, or go to your church, go to your RA. There are all these people and places you can go to for help, and it's like there's no stigma attached, other than, the whole cultural aspect of, oh, you have this mental disorder or whatever. That's so weird. And it's like, no, it's not. It's not. And I didn't like myself a lot at first. But being at Purdue, making these new friends who haven't known me all my life, it's like, no, they actually like me, and I like myself, and I can be myself. I'm not putting on a show for anyone. I can just be me.
It's like you come here and you come with a plan and you know what you're going to do. Like my plan was to come here, get my PhD, do some awesome research, get some publications, start my own business, and do it under like an amazing advisor, which she really has been to me. But I think the hostility fills with the culture on campus. So it's like a lack of respect for women by some men, and some men who choose to, just be kind of beast-like and just kind of react on their sexual feelings without even thinking about the feelings of others. Mm-hmm. It's a status thing. Purdue wants to uphold their reputation, which coincidentally is the same reason why my salient didn't get kicked off campus. I destroyed the evidence, and I didn't have enough to present to them, and even though everyone on my panel told me that they believed me, every time they met with me, they couldn't do anything. And the reason why they couldn't do anything is because if they punished the salient and got him off campus, he has the ability to come back and sue the university.
Let's see what else is there anything else that you wanted to?
I don't have many friends here. My friends all live in Indianapolis. They're all at home, or my family. I have people that I can talk to, and that's sparingly every so often. Really, my time at Purdue is focused on going to work so I can pay for school or learning. There's no real social life here at Purdue, for me at least. And I'm that one guy that nobody else wants to sit next to, And I mean, that happens all the time. That's just small stuff. People look at you like you're crazy when you say something smart. I mean, it's those kind of things that set you apart. And it's really small to them. They don't really recognize they're doing it. We recognize it, though, because you might just be one person, but there's 40,000 people on this campus. So it's happening dang near all the time, 5 times a day. To me, it hardens you kind of, because every day being an outcast kind of, that's tough. Every day. I can sometimes go a whole day without talking because people don't talk to me. If I don't initiate, you get used to people not speaking to you. I don't know, you learn and adapt to your situation, you have to.
On the mic like it's a dick. The shit. Bro. Yeah. What's good, and what's good evil, and what's good gangsters, and what's good people, and why God phone die every time that I call on them. If his son had a Twitter, wonder if I would follow him. Swallow them synonyms like cinnamon, cinnabon. Keep all them sentiments down to a minimum. Everybody's somebody's everything. I know you're right. Nobody's nothing. That's right. Everybody's somebody's everything. I know you're right. Nobody's nothing. That's right. Everybody's somebody's everything. That's right. Nobody's nothing.